Hey guys, welcome to my channel, All Things Logic. I'm Jeremy Haas. Today I'm going to show you guys how to take a DI guitar track and use a level meter to add plugins on and like gain stage with that level meter to make sure that you, as you add plugins on, it doesn't just keep getting louder and louder and louder to where then it just peaks and digitally distorts. It cuts off the signal and digitally distorts and sounds bad. So basically, I'll show you guys how to take the stock level meter, which is like a VU meter. It records how loud or quiet your signal is, and use that to add plugins on, and then turn down each plugin as you add it in to match, make sure that they all work correctly with each other, basically. So in the last video, I showed you guys what a level meter was, how it works, and where you can find it in Logic Pro. And today we'll do gain staging with it. So without further ado, let's get started. Yeah. I know that I know that for me. You know you want it. All right, guys. So let me put on these headphones here. So real quick, what we're gonna do is what I've got here is I've got a song I've been working on lately, and this is just the rough copy of it. I've got most of it done already. This is like the first go around, first project I did of All Bets Are Off. And in a second, I'll play a little bit and show you kind of how it sounds and what we're gonna be doing today. Before I do any of that, we're gonna here's part of the drum track. It's not finished on this one yet, and I've got one of the bass tracks I'm gonna be using today, and I got two DI tracks we're gonna work with. Just keep it real simple, But this is the DI track. We're just gonna use this one right here, actually, and we'll solo this one out, and we'll use this one to add plugins and like an amp sim and use a level meter to make sure that it doesn't get louder and louder and digitally distort, So, but like this is just a real basic copy. There's not a bunch done to it. I haven't done a bunch of mixing yet, so it's kind of some things are louder than others. Everything's not EQ'd right, so But anyways, so let me hit play so you can kind of hear what. Okay, first before I hit play, because we're not here to listen to my song or anything. We're here to learn how to use the plugins. So, but what I'm going to do is right here is, like I said, this is the one I'm going to be working on, the guitar track I'm going to be working on. So as you can see, I got a level meter on here already. But if you don't know where to get a level meter, you can go down to, you can either watch my other video on where to find it, how to use it, but I'll just show you right now. You go down to metering right here and go down to level meter and hit mono, okay? And that will bring up a level meter, and it looks like this, okay? So, and I already got a level meter out, so I'm going to get rid of it. And first off, I've got on this guitar track, I've got an amp sim on it. It's actually it's Gojira amp sim, but I bought already. I just like a lot of the metal plugin or metal, amps on it. The amps, the cabinets, that kind of stuff. But you can use any plugin. You can use the stock guitar amp plugins that come with amp sims that come with Logic Pro, and they all basically work the same. But today, so first off, you want to put that level meter in front of everything, or you can put it behind all the plugins. You just want to turn off all your plugins first, and I'll show you what that means in a little while. But so you got your level meter here. It looks like this. We've got it set up on, and so that's in front of everything. So all it's getting the signal from the. Let me hit play. So okay, so you hear what it sounds like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo this out, and we're going to turn off the amp sim for it. So you're just going to hear the plain signal with nothing on it, just the DI guitar track by itself, and that's the left ear because I got two different guitar tracks going on. So okay, you can see right here I've got it. Let me show you. Let me put a clean one on there. Let me get rid of this. We'll put a clean one on there, and I'll show you how I set it up first. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna go grab that level meter again. Level meter, bam, mono, and then from here I'm gonna go and I'm going to change it to peak RMS. Okay, I always do this for gain staging. But the real thing we're worried about is the peak. But I like to use RMS at the same time. And what peak and RMS is? Peak is the through our whole track, it's showing where it hits loudest at one point, not where it's at all the time. Where it jumps up the loudest. That's what we were really concerned about. We don't want it to jump up too high and peak, and digitally distort. And so, but RMS is basically where your guitar track, or where the signal is staying at the whole time, where it's at all the time basically. And so RMS will come in a little bit more as we're adding plugins on, but for now as we're just at the beginning with the signal. Like in my last video, I showed you guys how this works basically. I'm just going a recap real quick, but you just don't want this guitar signal here anywhere in your track. You don't want it to jump past like -6. And it's good. It's good anywhere. I think anywhere between a -9 and -6. But when you get past -6 towards -3, you really want that area for adding plugins onto, and for mixing and mastering later on with your master track and with all your other tracks and stuff like that. You need to leave some headroom. You don't want to touch that 0 at all, or go past 0, because it's no good anymore. If you go anything close to that, you want to redo your track over again. It's not. Yeah. So, and if you send your stuff out for someone else to mix and master, engineer, they're going to send it back to you and tell you to retake the tracks again if it goes, if it's too close to 0, because they can't work with it basically. So, so by keeping it between -9, -6, you've got a lot of room to work with all your plugins. Okay. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play again, and you're going to see it jump up to like -6 or -6 point something, and we're just going to, instead of going through the whole track and seeing where it gets the loudest, we're just going to go with whatever's loudest in this area and just pretend that's the whole track. But just know that that's what you want to do, your whole track basically. Find where it's loudest, and if it doesn't go too if it doesn't go too past -6, it's okay if it goes a little bit past it, but you really try not to, because you want to leave some headroom. But it's not the end of the world or anything. I always freak out and redo it till the whole track doesn't go past that. I like to keep it in, but it's it's kind of splitting hairs though. So anyways, so watch this real quick, what I'm talking about. There, it jumped up to -6.8. And remember to click on these and refresh them, because they'll get stuck at the lowest part it jumps to. So that was the lowest part in that area that it jumped to. Okay, guys, I'm going to turn that up. It doesn't matter if you turn up this track volume. It doesn't mess with it's separate than your signal volume and stuff, okay, and your EQs and stuff. That's just for you hear it, okay? It's not going to affect this. Watch, I'll hit play again. It won't affect it. I turned it up. I put it down the middle too. Still -6. I refresh it. It's not going to go. So it hits -6.8 around right here, okay? So we'll just say that we listened to the whole track, and that's as loud as it jumped up was that area. Now that's where we want to work with, since that's a decent DI guitar signal, okay? And this kind of works the same with bass guitar. You want the same, -6, -9 between those two, okay? RMS might be a little different later on. We'll explain that later. And vocals, all that's a little bit different, but you can aim kind of for the same thing with most instruments, okay? So as you can see, it's let me restart this. It jumps up to -6.8 right there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this cycle to just this area right there. Okay, and this gets a little monotonous, but what you want to do is you want it to go repeat. I can even shorten this and go so it just goes over that spot. To make it so you don't have to wait so long for it to hit that -6.8 part. Because now we're going to add plugins to it, and make sure that as we're adding plugins, it doesn't keep going louder and louder. That peak here doesn't keep going louder and louder till it digitally distorts to 0, or we don't want it to go back to -3. Okay, but I'm gonna show you guys how to keep your plugins and your signal at this same level, so you can do master track processing later and stuff like that. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and add. You always want to have AmpSim on there as you're recording, but just make sure that you don't put the level meter in front of or after the AmpSim, until we're doing this process, okay? If when you're just recording the guitar signal, make sure it's and you're trying to just get the signal level, make sure it's not in front after your amp sim. Make sure it's in front like this. See this, if the amp sim's after that, it won't affect this number here. That's where you want to get this between -6 and -9, -10, whatever, you know? So as you can see, still the same thing. It's not till you add this after the plugin that it will affect your level, this plugin itself. Okay, so but that's what we're going to do is we're going to actually put this behind there, and before I do anything, this is the way. Well, I'll just show you guys how to do it with the amp sim and we won't do today. I won't do because usually I put a noise gate first and then a compressor for not after the distortion, not yet. I put a noise gate, then I use a compressor for the DI signal. It's just to kind of keep it so it's not jumping all over the place as bad, you know. And it'll just bring it in because a lot of distortion has enough compression on it. You don't really need to put compression on your distortion. It's really compressed enough, the signal. You can, but I like to do this with any DI signal like bass also. I like to put a noise gate, then a compressor, and that kind of stuff on. So, well, I might as well just do it real quick since we're here. It's just because it's all got to do with the same thing. We're gain staging, okay? So let's go to dynamics. We're going to go down to noise gate. Okay. All right. So the cool thing about noise gate, it doesn't affect the signal level unless if you don't touch these things right here, which we're not going to. It doesn't really affect it. It doesn't. It just helps you the sustain, or if there's a lot of noise on your amp, keep it from sitting there giving that feedback you don't want, not the good feedback, the other kind, or in between notes that amp sims do. But I already have it on my amp sim. I already have a noise gate that comes with it, so it keeps it down. But this is, you can set this where you want. I usually set this about, and it's good. It comes pretty good for where I need it. So watch this. So now I'm going to turn off my amp sim, but but the level meter is, to turn on level meter. Level meter is now after our plugins now, okay? So, but like I told you, it's the noise gate, turning it on or off is not going to affect this signal. Watch this. It's still going to jump up to 6. See, nothing's changed, okay? Let me do this. See, it's the same exact one, okay? So noise gate's not affecting anything yet. So what we're going to do next is a compressor. I have my amp sim turned off right now because you've got to put in your amp sims or your plugins in the right order for the gain staging to work. Okay, you don't want to have your amp sim and make sure the amp sim's working great with it. Like you don't want to turn on your amp sim and then use the level meter to get the amp sim working with your signal, and then start adding plugins in front of that, and then because you're going to gain stage wrong. You got to do it in a certain level. So we'll add the amp sim in there later. I could even turn it off. I'm just turning it. I usually would get rid of it, but it might be confusing because it's sitting there. But just know it's off right now. So we're going to do again noise gate. Now I'm going to put a little compressor. I'm going to put a compressor in on there. We're going to go down to dynamic compressor right here. We're going to grab that. I'm going to take us to, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and do Studio VCA. And we're going to, now I'm not going to explain how to use a compressor or what it's for exactly. If you don't know, I'll have another video coming out soon on compression and different compressors and how they work with different types of instruments and DI and regular guitar or regular amps and stuff like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this. You can copy what I'm doing here if you want, if you just want to throw it on yours for a DI guitar, that is. But yeah, I'm not going to explain how all this works right now. Okay, but we are going to explain, because I am showing you guys how to gain stage. So say you know how to, now, so we want to make sure that now we add this, because this will affect our level. Okay, let's get back our level meter. It'll pop off once in a while. Let's bring it down over, let's bring it up here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and you're going to see the difference. This is going to shoot up the level meter here. It already is. See, watch it jump up. See, that's usually when it jumped up to 6.8. Jumped up. So what we got to do here. So I said how I want the compressor to work, but now we got to turn down the master output level here, And I got to turn up my makeup gain a little bit here. I forgot to do that. So it's going to be even louder now. So I got to turn down this output gain to match, to kind of keep this back, bring it back to -6 or close to, or -6.8 or close to that, okay? So let me hit play. Okay, see how it's going to jump up real high now, okay? So I got this all set how I want. Now I got to turn this down. This is how, using this output gain is how to get the level back down, but so it doesn't shoot this up too high, your peak too high, so your next plugin and the plugin after that will all react correctly with this plugin and the plugin before it, basically. So I'm going to turn this down, and we're just going to keep doing. Remember to click on this peak or RMS if it gets stuck sometimes. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I remember -6.8, so we wanted to be close to that. So I'm going to turn that back up. There it is. Oh, nope. Okay, I'm going to turn down just a little bit. A little bit more. There we go. Right on the dot. That doesn't always happen, okay? It's okay if it's a little bit, because we got room to work with here. So it's okay if we got lots of room to work with, actually. So it's okay if it goes at -6.5, -6.2, but just, and let me hit play, and I'm going to turn it off, turn it on. You can hear kind of the difference the compressor makes on just the signal. Probably can't tell much, but you really will be able to tell once you add a bunch of stuff on how much compressor is. How I love compressors. They're great. They don't seem like they do much, but they do a lot, actually. You might not be able to tell if you're just listening in through it on a phone or just normal speakers, but with good headphones, good studio speakers, especially when your final mix is done, it really helps to have everything. It really glues your mix together, especially using a compressor on your master processing and stuff like that. But anyways, so we got this, so we can go ahead and put this away. We're going to remember we're adding plugin, we're gain staging, we're adding plugin after plugin, so we can keep those on. Next, we're going to add our amp sim on now, and we're going to make sure that doesn't shoot up everything too loud, okay? So this is getting fun here, okay? So let's hit it. Okay, so I can turn it up. I'm already using a noise gate, but I'm going to turn this one noise gate up. Turn this up. That's a lot of distortion. Let me turn down my gain. No wonder it's so loud. I had it up so loud. I had the track volume up anyway. So there. Nice. That's right where I want it. Okay, cool. So it's okay if it gets a little bit louder. That's why you want it between -9 and -6, because you're okay if you go past -6 now with your plugins. As you add plugins, it can go down to -3 gain staging, okay? But remember, you still want some room for when you add some other plugins on your master track, when you do master track processing. If you don't know what that is, I'll get to that in another video. That's way down the road. We're just working on one track right now. And this is just to kind of show you how a level meter works and how to gain stage, because when you're doing master track processing, you're gonna want to go back and you're gonna do all this stuff to your master track. Then you're gonna make sure all your stuff is turned off on your single tracks, and then you're gonna add all this stuff on after you do your master track processing. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but this is showing you just how to gain stage, basically. But for now, to get your stuff sounding good before you do master track processing, this is the way I do it, So again, perfect. Okay, cool. So again, like I said, you can add plugins and get louder and louder, but leave some room. Don't go past -3. Don't go you know, try to stay, as you're adding plugins, leave a little bit of room to work with, like I said, with your master track processing, if that makes any sense. So, okay, so we got that where we want. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to add in a EQ, okay? So, and I could sit here and fine tune this amp sim, because there's so many cool sounds on the Gojira amp sim. But or let me real quick, one thing I want to show you real quick on just in case you don't have a paid amp sim, or there's the plugin amp sims that come with Logic Pro. I use them all the time, just usually not the distortion. They have a great clean and some crunch, but their clean amp sims are great. I just don't, you know, their distortion, you can work with them, but they're just not the best. But this is the same thing as this. What I'm using here, just like I did on the compressor, we're using the output gain. There's your output gain. So you could fix how you want it to sound. This is how your amp sounds, like I did here. This is how you get your tone and your cabinet and all that stuff. Like this has got a cabinet. This one also has a cabinet. But so you can gain stage and get your level right, this is your final level output, okay? So this is what I'm doing here. What I did here is the same thing you'd be doing with this if you're using the stock plugins. Just want to throw that out there because it can be a little confusing if I don't show you that. So now I'm going to get rid of that plugin because I'm not using those. Okay, so next we're going to add in an EQ, like I said, okay? So we're going to go down and we're going to, with this, I like to use a channel EQ, okay, with guitar, with a DI guitar and amp sims. So I'm not going to go here and EQ this all and show you how EQ works. What I'll just do really quick with this is to get this quicker, because we're here for gain staging, not for EQ today. I'm just going to go down to the presets they have and go to guitar. I really like this guitar improve here, okay? I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to take a little bit of this out. Okay, so now let me hit play. I'm going to turn off this amp sim. I'm going to bring back the level meter. You're going to see how much this amp or this EQ has shot up that level. And so I'm going to show you guys how to gain stage an EQ with see that? Okay. So to make sure that's not getting that loud, we don't need that. We don't want to get that, or we don't want to get that close to our, you know, digital zero yet. So we're going to use this as your master gain output. There we go. Cool. Get it? So, yeah. Again, I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to go back. I'm going to make sure that I forgot where I was at with this amp sim on. So where was it at? I think we were good. Okay, I remember. Okay. So now that's on. Yeah. We're gold. We're doing great, guys. Okay, so if you might want to add another compressor on before this EQ after the amp sim. I don't usually, and then you might want to add even another EQ onto this to really tune your sound. But I'm just showing you the basics. Okay, like you can add a limiter on now if you want, but you wait for a limiter until you do master track processing and all that stuff. And a limiter, is like the final step. You can really pump this peak up to, -3, basically, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that today, but I just kind of want to show you kind of, how you gain stage. That's how you gain stage. Now you've got a lot of room to work with still. So when you do your master track processing later on, you have all this room to work with. And so you get the idea. You can do this with bass guitar. I'll do another video showing you how to gain stage with the bass guitar and amp sims. It's kind of the basic same thing, but yeah. But also I'll make a video soon showing you guys why you use these and different ways you can use your plugins, like different orders. This is the way I like to use when I'm doing a DI guitar track. This is the order I like to add my plugins on. And I'll add some extra extra EQ sometimes depending on the amp sim, or if it's a real amp, if I'm recording with a microphone, that kind of stuff, total different. I'll set up this stuff a lot different, okay? But always a noise gate at the beginning, okay? But yeah, same with bass. There's several people, everyone does it a little differently, and this is what works for me. It might work differently for you. So I just want to throw it out there. But we will make another video soon showing you guys how to use a compressor, all the different compressors, how they work, what compressors are best used with other compressors. Like there's several different ones here. There's all these, and some of these work better with bass guitar than guitars. It's good to know which compressors and which compressors do what, and how the ratio works and attack and all that. It's all really awesome stuff, fun stuff to learn actually. So a little confusing at first, but it's a lot of fun. Please leave me some comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. About the channel, anything you guys would like to learn, anything I'm leaving out. I'm Jeremy Haas. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That leaves it wide open. Yeah.